Hey, it's Neville Medora here, and today I want to talk about how I make money from copywriting, specifically the 8 different income streams that my copywriting business has. Now, I get a ton of questions, especially from non-techie people, on how I make money from what I do, specifically the copywriting stuff. They're not really sure what to make of it when I say I make money from copywriting. So the good part about making money from the internet is that there's often multiple ways to monetize the same thing. So while most of my income comes from selling a simple subscription to the copywriting course, my training program for writers, there's roughly 8 different income streams in total surrounding my copywriting related activity online. So I put out content on the internet, people find it, and people buy stuff. Here's the way each brings in income. So number 1 is the copywriting course. So the copywriting course is a membership course that trains people to become better writers, and with specifically a focus on selling. We're not writing fiction stories. We're actually writing online with eventually the focus on selling something at the end. So small businesses will buy the copywriting course to teach themselves and their employees how to write better copy on their emails, on their sales pages, on their about pages, on their product pages, on their cold outreach emails, all that kind of stuff. And also, if people want help on their copy, they can just post it inside the copywriting course, and myself and other writers go through it and change it up for them. And then on Thursdays, we get on an office hours call and take up to about 8 questions for members, and we redo copy on the spot or talk strategy live on the call and fix stuff live on the call. So people come with a question, and at the end, they have a fully answered question and sometimes a fully rewritten email. So the copywriting course is a combination of training and community, and we sell a monthly and yearly subscription to it. And so that's one of the top ways that we make money. Revenue stream number 2 is a site called swipefile.com. Now, a lot of people are like, what is a swipe file? So a swipe file is a marketing term for a collection of good marketing materials you like or can learn from. So years ago, I started building my own swipe file on a desktop folder. So that means anytime I saw a piece of marketing I like, I would take a screenshot of it or save it and put it in a folder. And then over time, your phone became one of the top ways you consume content. So then I had a separate phone folder that I would take screenshots and put into that folder. But then here's the problem. Whenever I wanted to recall something like, what are different pricing structures I've seen that are really good? I have to sift through the whole damn thing. So I created swipefile.com where the whole world can access my private swipe file. And I wanted Swipefile to be an independent site. That's why it's not part of copywriting course. And so it's not necessarily related to copywriting course, although there is some overlap. And the way it makes money is it has Google AdSense on it. So if you go to swipefile.com, you'll see all these different ads all over the place. And when someone clicks on an ad, I get a small portion of that revenue. So Swipefile makes money and pays for itself, but the main goal of it is to build the world's best swipe file. So that's one of the steady income earners for this whole copywriting thing I got going on. Revenue stream number 3 is a book. That's right, a book. I self-publish a book called This Book Will Teach You to Write Better. It sells on Amazon only, and I originally tried to make it free, but with Amazon, I do have to charge some money since it is a physical book. So I made it $5, the cheapest I was allowed to make it, and it was designed to be readable in 30 minutes and like a crash course on writing copy. Until this day, it still sells really well. It has hundreds of reviews, and every month it brings an income. And I will say, of any form of income I make from the copywriting world, this book is the most passive of them all. Here's why. I published it many years ago and have done nothing to promote it since. It just naturally sells on Amazon and it still keeps going to this day. And honestly, if I wanted to boost my passive income for all the 8 different revenue streams I'm sharing here, I would probably redo this book and boost the price to $20 a pop. And I actually think it would make a pretty good income just doing that. So the book is my revenue stream number 3 that I still make money from this day. It's one of the most passive things I do. It's pretty neat. Revenue stream number 4 is one-on-one consulting, aka actually doing copywriting. So before I started a copywriting course, people would ask for help with their email newsletters, and I'd charge them by the hour and sometimes by the project, really depending on the client. So I would help people rewrite things on the spot, which is honestly very rewarding in many ways. And by doing consulting, I would get to see insider numbers of different companies. So people would hire me, so they would pay me to come look at their numbers and help boost open rates and boost their email newsletters. And I would get to hear the methods they've used that did work well and that didn't work well. I would also get to meet really cool people, and they pay me money. All around, consulting is pretty awesome in my opinion. If all I did was consult, that would actually make a pretty good living. I would make a few $100,000 a year just doing consulting. I think the reason most people try to find other income streams, though, from consulting is that if you only consult, your time becomes very in demand and your business can't really function without you. In fact, you are the business. So if you go on vacation and you're a consultant, well, if you can't consult with that company and work with them, then you don't get paid. So this is why finding other income streams outside of just consulting is good. But I would say for a lot of people, building up a good consulting business is a great way to earn income pretty quick. Revenue stream number 5 is a YouTube channel. That's right. I post videos about copywriting on YouTube. People subscribe, people pay attention, people watch, and I get paid from YouTube in 2 different ways. The number one is an indirect way, which is where people watch my copywriting course training on YouTube and they decide to buy the actual real professional copywriting course. So they sign up for a subscription and pay us either monthly or yearly. And then number 2 for the YouTube channel is I get a percentage of ad revenue. So, on YouTube, sometimes the people that don't have the YouTube Red subscription, they see an ad. And if you see an ad and click on it, or if you see enough ads, I get a percentage of that income. So every month, actually every week, YouTube pays me a certain amount and it goes up or down depending on how many views I have or what the subject is. So if you're a knitting YouTube channel, you probably won't make all that much money. But if you're talking about B2B enterprise software, you might actually make a lot of money. So I'm somewhere in the middle where I get pretty decent ad revenue because I talk about email stuff, writing stuff, marketing stuff. So let's move on to revenue stream number 6, Amazon affiliates. So when people click links on my site that are Amazon affiliate links, for example, I have a post about the best copywriting books. And if you click one of those links, it's an Amazon affiliate link. So it just links you to the page that Amazon sells that book on. But if you buy it right then and there on the spot, Amazon says, hey, Neville, thanks for sending us this business that we otherwise wouldn't have got. We're going to give you 4% of that book. So, 4% of $20 isn't usually like the hugest amount in the world, but it does add up to a few $100 a month. And it's very, very passive because a lot of this income comes from old blog posts I may have written a few years ago. For example, a few years ago, I wrote a post on how my setup in my home office is done. So the lighting, the cameras, the desks, all that kind of stuff. And it started ranking in the Google search results for like home office lighting or some keywords like that. And people would often buy the cameras that I recommended. Now, if I get 4% of a $900 purchase for one camera, that's $36. And I didn't really work for it. It was just a post that someone saw, liked it, and bought it. So this isn't necessarily full-time income that I make off of this thing, but it does add up to a little nugget. I'm not going to decline this revenue. It's pretty passive for the most part. And it's really helpful whenever I'm recommending books and I get a small little finder's fee for sending someone there. That's pretty cool. So Amazon affiliate, that is revenue model number 6. Revenue stream number 7 is email sponsorships. This is relatively new. And what happens is I send out this Friday email called the Swipes email. And sometimes a sponsor will sponsor the newsletter. And I'll say this newsletter is sponsored by XYZ. Go check out their stuff. Or I'll weave it in to one of the sections if it makes sense. Now, this email goes out to just shy of around 60,000 people every week. And the sponsors can promote their product in a small section of the email. Or I'm even testing out this self-serve method at copywritingcourse.com/sponsor, where people could just like pay a flat fee and sponsor it. I'm just testing that out right now. It'd be kind of fun. But basically for this Friday email, if enough people read with regularity, you can potentially monetize it, much like a newspaper sends out ads in their newspaper. It's just like that. Or a website like Swipefile is serving up ads. Similarly, you could do that with email. And last but not least is revenue stream number 8, advising companies. This one's a little bit more advanced, but sometimes medium and large companies will bring me on as an advisor. This means I will get equity in the company. This means I will own a small percentage of the company, almost like owning stock in Apple means you own a small portion of the company. I will get equity in that company. And sometimes they'll even pay me advising fees. So every month I'll go into the office or do a virtual meeting and help out maybe the writing team, marketing team with SEO, content marketing, their email newsletter, etc. So I'll often help companies develop their email newsletters out, much like with The Hustle or AppSumo. And if there's a sale or acquisition of one of those companies, I might see a piece of that upside too, since I own equity. And so those are the 8 revenue streams. Number 1 was selling copywriting course memberships. Number 2 was sweatfile.com ad revenue. Number 3 was selling a book through Amazon. Number 4 is one-on-one consulting, aka actually doing copywriting. Number 5 is YouTube channel advertising. Number 6 is Amazon affiliate links. Number 7 is email sponsorships. And number 8 is advising companies and getting equity. So if you've ever wondered how someone like me makes money on the internet with respect to my copywriting activities, this is where the income comes from. And most of the money comes from copywriting course and consulting, but I would like to make the advertising income higher because it is a little bit more passive and there are systems that I can put in place to make those higher. And so this includes the Friday email ads, YouTube ads, and sweatfile.com ads. So those might actually be something in 2023 I focus on a little bit more. Then outside of strict income streams, the other cool thing about publishing on the internet is the other opportunities it brings. So for example, since I publish a lot and people listen to me, I get greater access and reach as that grows larger. So let's say in 2023, I would like to start regularly podcasting more and I want to invite high profile guests. Well, if I have a large platform on the internet, such as Twitter or something, then guests are far more likely to say yes to an interview. Imagine someone reaches out on Twitter, they have 1 follower and they say, hey, you want to be a guest? And you'd be like, is this even real? But then someone has 100,000 followers and a very active profile and they have a cool web page and everything. You're more likely to say yes to an interview because it just looks a little bit more organized. So maybe I could start monetizing that method too. So a lot of the stuff that this does is indirect benefit. For example, growing a larger Twitter following doesn't necessarily make me money directly, but it gets me greater access and reach. So I hope this sheds some light on how someone like myself makes money online, specifically from copywriting. It's been a common question I get from people, and I think this should really clear it up. So maybe you can even learn a thing or two from this and start making income online on your own. So I'm going to recap this all real quick. The methods are: number 1, copywriting course memberships; number 2, sweatfile advertising income; number 3, a book self-published; number 4, consulting; number 5, YouTube channel advertising revenue; number 6, Amazon affiliate revenue; number 7, email sponsorships; and number 8, advising companies. If you want to check any of this stuff out, go to copywritingcourse.com and check out what we have to offer. You can kind of see what we do, or even join our community at copywritingcourse.com/join. And you can actually see exactly what we're doing inside, how I train people, how I run a community myself. And so if you also want to get on our newsletter, go to copywritingcourse.com/newsletter and you'll get my Friday newsletter called the Swipes email, which is very, very popular and unanimously well loved. And maybe you'll even see one of the promotions inside and be like, oh, that's how we made money. So check it out. My name is Neville Medora. I hope this was educational for you and I will talk to you later.